investigates all allegations of sexual assault, both on adults and child victims. After I give my brief opening, I'm going to turn it over to our lead detective, Detective Daniel. Following Detective Daniel, I'm going to turn it over to Detective Garza, who's going to provide a statement in Spanish. And so we would ask that you hold all of your questions until after Detective Garza completes in Spanish. And this is Sergeant Stabanoa, supervisor within the adult sex crimes, and Officer Ramon here, that's one of our detectives in the adult sex crimes as well. So I'm ready when you guys are. All right. Good morning. Thank you for being here today. Today we're asking for the public's help to assist us in locating a wanted fugitive who is a serial sexual assault suspect. Our suspect's name is Brandon Carter. HPD detectives have linked 3 aggravated sexual assault cases to Carter, which occurred over a period of 7 months. HPD detectives have filed 2 felony charges against Brandon Carter for aggravated sexual assault and credit card abuse. Brandon Carter is an African-American male, 28 years of age, and is known to have ties to the Greens Point area. We believe Brandon Carter is currently on the run, but we know somebody out there knows where he is. So we are asking anybody who has information as to the whereabouts of Brandon Carter to contact Crime Stoppers at 713-222-TIPS, where you may be eligible for a reward, or you may also contact the Houston Police Department. Brandon Carter's picture is here to my left, but now I will turn this over to Detective Daniel, who is the lead detective on the aggravated sexual assault investigations.
Thank you, Kevin. Good morning. Brandon Carter's not a very nice man. Very brutal to his victims, using a pistol. He covers their eyes in different methods and uses ties to bound them during the sexual assaults. He also takes property during the commission, and he's very, very methodical about not leaving evidence at the scenes. However, in most cases, there's a mistake, and that's how we got the lead. I'm just fortunate enough that I got the case where there was a lead. He used my victim, my sexual assault victim, my aggravated sexual assault victim. He caught her coming out of her apartment. We've now believed that he stalks his victims for a while. There's other reasons why we're saying that. And he forced her back in at gunpoint, made her cover her head, sexual assault. He took some of her property, which is aggravated robbery, and used a debit card. That's where we got the lead. I took some information, met with some people, and that is the first time we've really been able to identify Brandon Carter. And we were able to identify him for the credit card abuse, create a photo spread, which Detective Garza put together, and it has been distributed to several cases. So we're sure we have the right person. And on my case, we're going to file additional charges. And on some other cases, we're filing charges, and some are pending. But he made a mistake, and we caught it. This man was in jail until January the 6th, 2019. These cases started mid-year of January 2019. My case, hopefully it's going to be the last one, but we don't know, was January the 8th of 2020. My case was on the west side of Houston. The other detectives, their cases are the Greens Point area where he has ties. we'll talk about other questions after Detective Garza.
Buenos días, yo soy el detective Garza de la Policía de Houston, División de Víctimas Especiales, Unidad de Crímenes Sexuales con los Adultos. Estamos aquí para pedirles ayuda en localizar a un fugitivo que es un sospechoso de varios crímenes de asalto sexual. Nuestro sospechoso se llama Brandon J. Carter. Hemos encontrado por lo menos 3 casos de asalto sexual agravado que están relacionados con el sospechoso, que han ocurrido en los últimos 7 meses. Hemos obtenido 2 cargos en contra de Brandon Carter por asalto sexual agravado y abuso de tarjeta de crédito. Brandon Carter es un hombre afroamericano de 28 años y tiene conexiones con el área de Greens Point. Pensamos que Brandon Carter está ahorita huyendo de la ley, pero sabemos que hay alguien afuera que nos puede ayudar a localizarlo. Estamos pidiendo a cualquiera que tenga información de cómo localizar a Brandon Carter que contacten a Crime Stoppers al 713-222-TIPS, donde puede ser elegible para una recompensa, o puede contactarnos directamente al Departamento de Policía de Houston. El sospechoso es muy agresivo, muy brutal con sus víctimas. Las acosa a punta de pistola, las hace que se cubren la cara, y él está enmascarado también para que ellos no lo puedan identificar después. Es muy metódico y le gusta y usualmente no deja evidencia, no deja rastro de evidencia. Este sospechoso, tenemos 2 casos en el área de Greens Point y otro caso en el área del oeste de Houston. Y puede haber otros casos en los que él puede también haber cometido este mismo tipo de crímenes en el resto del área de Houston. Por eso estamos aquí pidiendo que nos ayude a localizar a este hombre, que es muy, muy, muy peligroso y es considerado armado y peligroso. Okay.
Just real quick, just to summarize. So Brandon Carter, again, we have linked 3 aggravated sexual assault cases, 2 in the Greens Point area, 1 in West Houston. Each of the cases were assigned to each investigator up here. Officer Garza has 1. Detective Garza, Detective Daniel, Detective Palacios. Detective Reagan Daniel is the lead detective for the 3 cases. If you know the whereabouts of Brandon Carter, do not approach. We do believe he is armed. We do believe he is dangerous by his actions. We are asking you to contact the Houston Police Department or Crime Stoppers. And so with that, we'll entertain any questions you have.
Can you guys just go through in order each of the cases?
Sure.
Like
Great.
what date, what bar down, victim age, what happened?
I'm going to back it up a little bit. April, he got out of jail January 8th or 9th of 2019. We didn't work a case, but he was arrested by patrol, and patrol did a great job in April of 2019. They arrested him on some traffic tickets while he was at an apartment complex sitting on the stairs, and I feel that he was waiting for the victim opportunity. Okay, so that was April. Then,
And was that in Greens Point?
no, that is West Side Houston. Now, I'm mainly going to talk about West Side because that's the cases I'm working. And then June or July case? June case is one that we first started, that was first worked, where he used a method to cover the victim, a gun, zip ties, we'll say it zip ties, and some other things that he did. That was the first case that we really had okay, this is strange. And then we started working backwards, not knowing who he was. We did not know who this man was until the credit card was used. And that was January 9th or January 8th of 2020. Yes, we had that information over here about this person being arrested, but we had no clue. People are arrested with property all the time. But once I went back to the property room and we started looking in that bag of property that he didn't come back and pick up, that gave us everything we had. He had the goggles, he had the pistol, he had the zip ties, he had sterile gloves, he had a throw-down shirt so he can change and walk away and go, oh, the guy's wearing a red shirt. He's got a black shirt that he's changed into. The ages are 20 to 42, Hispanic and black. At this time, that's what we know.
I think, is there a way you can tell me, okay, this June X date case for a 23-year-old woman at this location at this time? I think we really need specifics.
Sure, well, she wants to take it chronologically, so the first
Okay.
case, each one of y'all talk about your individual
Tell
cases.
us about
Let's
the
do-
three
Okay.
cases,
All
what
right.
happened, when, what ages.
All right. Detective Garza's case.
Okay, so I'm not gonna give any specifics first off. Okay, sometime mid-June, we had a case in the Greensport area. The suspect entered the residence of the complainant while she was asleep, woke her up at gunpoint while he's masked, so she couldn't see his identity clearly. Ordered her to, or he blindfolded her, then bound her, zip ties in her hands, asking for money, or where's the money. Later on, after not finding any money, he was gonna sexually assault her, and he did. I'm not gonna mention the details on that aspect, but the victim was sexually assaulted, and then he fled the location. He makes every effort to not leave any evidence, not DNA evidence or things of that sort, and so I didn't have any leads on my case.
If that woman is around, what can you tell us about her? How age?
She's a mature lady. And she's a black female. So I personally don't think that he's speaking on a specific ethnicity or race. I think it's just the opportunity. Whoever feels, that's a target, a easy target. That's who's he's gonna pick on. But his method is he's concealing himself where victims can't recognize him, and then he's also blindfolded them in different methods, bounding them where they can't move while he's collecting valuables from the property, and then the sexual assault occurs.
Did you break in, or was the door unlocked?
Yes.
How was
Okay.
there no DNA evidence left?
Well, we don't. When the victims they get a sexual assault kit, we don't determine at the time. We don't know at the time where there's DNA left or not. We send our sexual assault kits to the Houston Forensic Science Center, and time later they tell us whether there's DNA or not. Like I said, I'm not gonna mention what he's doing for these victims to not leave any evidence, but I'm telling you that he's making every effort to not leave DNA behind. Okay.
Is this all happening in all apartments, and how long is he stalking them for? You mentioned.
So that's my case.
Yeah. As far as stalking, we're not real sure, but there's a case that I'm working on that we're waiting on evidence, I'm just gonna say. And the lady said, that's the first time my boyfriend did not spend the night with me. Now, what are the odds? It's a football game, Texans are playing the Lions, okay? The first night that he's not there, that he breaks into that apartment. Some of the apartments, they're coming in or they're going into their apartments. He's masked, the gun comes out, going on inside, face down, lays them down, and then bounds them, covers so they can't see, and then he does his crime.
So there's a June case, and what's the other case?
June case?
His
His case.
No, yeah, that was his case. That's Greens Point.
What's her case was what?
Mine's later. When's yours?
It was early December.
September, Greens Point.
Can you tell
Ray, come on up here to give a statement
Yeah,
real quick
come on.
about your case.
And identify yourself.
Okay, yeah, I'm a Detective Garcia from the Houston Police Department. I'm working one of the case related to this. Basically, in my case, it's still pending. Okay, I'm not gonna say much about what I found, but the same method he used in the other cases. They cover their mask. Huh?
When did it happen?
It happened sometime December last year. Okay, November, December.
It was in Greens Point or is it West Side, your case?
What was that?
Greens
Greens Point area, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Greens Point area. So, same thing. I believe that he is stalking the victim too, the way my victim got approached, and she was by herself. Her boyfriend wasn't there, and he somehow got into her house, basically, and used a gun, put the face on his mask on his face, and covered the victim's face, and sexual assaulted her, and made her watch and everything else. Tried to cover his tracks and no DNA left behind. So that's the only thing I can give you right now. And victim age is, I won't say it, but what I can say about the victim, he's a Hispanic female. Okay.
Wait, he makes them shower?
Huh? She's an adult, correct?
He makes them shower after he assaults them?
He makes, yes. On my victim, he did that.
Pueden decirlo en español, si es que pueden.
Sí, sí, sí. Soy el detective García de la Policía de Houston. Yo trabajo en la unidad de asalto sexual en adultos. Y yo también tengo un caso relacionado con la misma persona que estamos buscando. Y como lo dije en inglés, esta persona entró a este apartamento donde mi víctima fue asaltada sexualmente. Él tenía una pistola y también se puso una máscara y le cubrió la cara a mi víctima también. Okay? Y le hizo también que se bañara para no dejar evidencias.
¿Eso
Okay.
fue una vez que la asaltó sexualmente?
Sí, fue que la asaltó sexualmente. Y él tenía una pistola también, okay, cuando hizo eso.
Era una víctima hispana.
Una víctima hispana, sí. Ajá. Y todavía estoy trabajando ese caso. No puedo decir mucho porque está reciente y estoy trabajando en ese caso.
¿Tiene récord criminal?
¿El señor? Sí. Ujú. Eso no tengo muchos detalles de ese récord criminal, pero los otros detectives pueden decir más porque ellas están trabajando más en ese caso. Ujú.
Detective Reagan, they're asking about his criminal record. You want to take over?
Yeah, well, she had a question first, and then we'll go with the criminal record.
Is this guy suspected in any other cases? Are you looking at similar cases with similar circumstances?
Yeah, we believe that there are other investigations or other cases that he may be responsible for. And I want to apologize that we're not giving out too many details to you guys because we don't want to taint any further investigations that we may have or other victims who have not reported this crime yet. Our hope is, or we know that sexual assault is one of the most unreported crimes to begin with. Our hope is if he committed any further sexual assaults, that a victim would be, brave enough to contact or at least reach out to us to make the report. So we're just trying to be very careful on what we release. So I apologize that we can't give the specifics when I think one of y'all were asking, well, how do the victims, what does he do to make the DNA evidence go away? Well, it's we don't want to give that piece of information away. So I apologize for not being too, not offering the information that, or answering the questions you may be asking. We do believe that Brandon Carter is responsible for other sexual assaults. We're trying to link that information up right now, but as of this time, we're not confident to say that he is responsible, absolutely responsible for any other case other than the three we're here to talk about today.
So then the January case, can you tell us the January case, I guess your January 8th, you said?
2020, that was my case.
And that's the one that's been charged, right? That's the one that's been filed.
In that case, he's been charged for credit card abuse. Detective Garza took my photo of him, created a photo array. His victim identified him. He immediately filed the sexual assault charge. My credit card victim has identified him. That charge is coming very soon. In regard to Brandon's criminal history, he was in Harris County Jail on criminal trespass. Actually, it was burglary of habitation to commit sexual assault. There was we don't know anything about the trial. There was no trial, there was a plea. And he got out early January 2019.
Can you just clarify for me, on your case, the January case, was it what part of town that happened? Was that?
West side of Houston.
And when you say west side, can you be a little more specific?
Richmond and the Beltway.
Yeah.
And then, was she in an apartment? Did you break in?
That was apartment. She was going to work. He walked up behind her, put a gun to her head, and forced her back inside. Put a pistol to her head.
And tied her up and assaulted her?
Yes.
And then, can you tell us where he used the credit card? Like, did he go shopping, did he buy gas?
Greens Point area.
When was he last seen? Do you think he's still in the area at this point?
We've done surveillance, several locations. We have not seen him, and it's mainly up in the Greens Point area. Detective Garza and I, he spent a lot of hours out there. I've spent some. We don't know where he is. That's why we're asking y'all to come here, put it out, get it out to the public, help us bring some victims forward, because it's the worst thing you can report for a woman. Help us, and we'll get him taken care of. Call Crime Stoppers. We don't discuss it with them. Call Crime Stoppers. Get your name out there, and then call HPD if you need to, and do that.
What would you say to women in that area to look out for?
You know, you have to be cautious. But my victim was very cautious. She looked back before she walked out. He was on the other side of her shoulder, couldn't see her, didn't see her that way. Walked up from where he was spying on her. So she was very cautious. I don't know what to tell you. You can do your due diligence and be super careful. Every one of these cases are totally different. His manner. Second story, it doesn't matter. Middle of the night.
Let me just take something real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, women, victims, you can do everything right. You can do everything right. You can comply. You can be in a well-lit area. You can walk with people. But even doing everything right, you could still be a victim of sexual assault, male or female. With that being said, I mean, women especially are more vulnerable. We get 90% of our cases are female victims. So there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe having some mace in your hand, or taking self-defense, or scream, or if something doesn't feel right, trust your intuition. Turn around, go back in the apartment, stay on the phone. Just remember what you saw. If anything just seems out of the ordinary, I would say call the police. If it just doesn't feel right, and most importantly, if you are a victim, we are asking any victims of sexual assault or any other crime to please report it to the police, because the sad fact is, if we don't know about it, we cannot bring your offender to justice. So that's our big ask, is we need people to report crime. We need to know what's happening so we can put the resources in the right places.
You guys think there's other victims?
We believe there may be other victims. We can't confirm it right now. We're doing the investigative legwork to try to link Brandon Carter to other cases. So I'm not ready to confirm that there are other cases other than the 3 we have here today.
So what are your concerns that he could elevate and become actually a murderer and kill 3 women?
Yeah, you never know. One could, now that he knows if he's wanted, if he sees the news articles and finds out that he's currently wanted for sexual assault, he can certainly elevate it. He can certainly say, well, you know what, the gig is up. Let me find whatever victims I can. So it's possible. I can't speculate as to what he could or could not do, but this is a bad guy using a weapon to break into women's apartments, tie them up, and sexually assault them. So.
And
Take us chronologically through the
Okay.
case with patrol and the traffic and the tagging.
All right,
and the other.
let's,
We did the bad job of explaining, so I apologize.
okay,
We
it's
did
my,
a good
it's
job.
my, okay. Let me, I know. There's some, this case, like I said, he got it in January of 2019. Got out of jail. April of 2019 on the west side, we'll say the Beltway in Richmond area. Brother of a victim, maybe, we'll say, left the apartment and looked and saw Brandon Carter sitting on some stairs. He called the police. Officers arrived, took him into custody, verified he did not live in that apartment complex, okay? So just not because he's there. They
The
ver-
probable cause of the PC was for.
Pardon?
The probable cause for him taking was unpaid traffic tickets in April?
No, was it trespassing? Okay. Who are you? Where do you live? They went to the office and verified he did not live on that complex. At that time, they checked his traffic, or his for criminal history, he had traffic tickets. So he got out of jail without those traffic tickets, or those traffic tickets were issued after jail. We don't know that one. So they took him into custody. His property bag that he was carrying, the pistol, the goggles, the zip ties, sterile gloves, the throw-down shirt, was in that property room, and the patrol officers did a great job from West Side in tagging that property. Okay. It still didn't hit our radar, because is he a robber or sexual assault suspect? We don't know. It didn't hit our radar. Then, in July, the first really known case that we had with that equipment happened in Greens Point. Now you're talking a quarter of the city. And then the second case that we could, with the same equipment, Detective Garcia had that one. Okay, Greens Point area. Still not on the west side where he was stopped for, on the traffic. Then my case in January of 2020 is west side, 2-3 miles from there. It made sense now of everything that we had. So we didn't have a good lead just on the property. We knew it was unusual for somebody to carry all that, but we didn't know if it was us or robbery, burglary, what is he doing?
And they never charged him with trespassing or anything?
They did not charge him with trespassing. They put him in jail on the traffic tickets. That's a DA's decision or a patrol decision, but that's what they put him in jail for. They did a good job by tagging that evidence, which I went over and took pictures. It matched his case, both of their cases, and then it matched mine. But I did it after I got my case. Yes, ma'am.
Wouldn't the gun have raised the flag? If it was in his bag of stuff that was seized when he was taken in,
It was a BB gun.
didn't that raise an alarm?
It does now, but people get arrested with the strangest stuff, and there's no crime of having goggles. There's no crime of carrying a pistol. There's no crime
It was
of.
a BB gun.
Yep.
Just to clarify, it was a BB gun, so.
Okay. But listen, let me make this clear.
Little handheld BB gun.
He has changed pistols. It wasn't the same type of pistol on my victim. So tell the victims, we're telling them everything that looks like a gun can be a deadly weapon, if it's a BB gun or not. So don't go on the assumption it's a BB gun and fight him. Okay?
Is there a vehicle
No.
associated?
No, she had a second something else. Go ahead. Okay, so your question was, why didn't we do something with that? It's not a crime to have that property. The officers did their job. They put him in jail on traffic tickets.
So April 19 traffic tickets, June he you identified him, is that?
That is
am I right?
correct.
Okay,
Okay.
I just wanna make sure I'm.
Is there a vehicle associated with him that public should be
We,
looking at?
we do not have him in a vehicle except when he used the credit card. And we, Detective Garza and I went to that residence. We interviewed that driver, that owner. We searched his car.
But it didn't belong to Brandon.
It did not belong to Brandon. However, that person said that he had been staying there. He denied, that person denied some things. We're working all these cases. Main thing is to get him arrested, let everybody relax a little bit, and then we're gonna work more cases.
Do you believe somebody's helping him hide right now?
I think his family is very nice. His parents are super, okay? We think friends have told him that we've gone to their houses with warrants and all this other stuff, that he knows he's being sought. Whether he's still in Houston, Harris County, or he's moved, we don't know. That's what, we've done some things to try to trace him. He does not have a phone that we can find.
I know you also mentioned you recovered the BB gun. Is there any other weapon you recovered, and are they registered to him if it is one?
BB guns are they're not a registerable weapon.
No, I understand. I just didn't know if there was a gun.
Yeah,
beyond
we don't have any weapons at this time except the recovered information, recovered property.
When
Yes.
you were saying the brother of the victim who saw him sitting on the steps, and that's when the bag of property was found. When you say the brother of the victim, is the victim, does she wind up to be one of the three?
I went back and worked a little bit on that case. He wasn't identified by photo array of the brother's relatives, okay? Nothing happened to them that we can put Brandon to, okay? But the brother was observant, said something's not right. Why is this? He knows his complex. Why is this guy sitting on the stairs? And he went away, came back, and called the police. So there's no, I'm not saying that his family is a victim of sexual assault, okay? Let's just leave it at that, please.
So the first.
No, she had a question, I'm sorry.
Do you have any specific details on his appearance, perhaps in that women should look out for, just people in general?
Tell me again?
Do you have any specific details on his physical appearance?
Okay, yes, we do, I'm sorry. According to Harris County records and his other identification, Brandon's about 5'8", about 150 pounds. He may be a little bit taller than 5'8". He's known to wear a mustache and hair, but he's always covering his face. But that picture is a good identification of him. He's stocky, he's athletic, 28 years old, known to ride the bus according to his friends, known not to have a cell phone according to his friends.
Any identifying tattoos?
Not that we know of.
I was gonna mention also that the suspect's been known to stay at motels. Besides taking a bus, he also travels by foot, according to his acquaintances. He could travel long distances by foot. He may be unkempt at this point, so his face appearance, his beard, hair, might not be what you see right here. But right now, he's not staying with his parents, to our knowledge. He's not staying with his friends that we've interviewed. So we don't even know if he's in the vicinity anymore. We don't know if he's already left the area, the state. We're not sure. So hopefully this message gets to everybody that knows him, and they help us bring him forward to justice.
That's right.
You mentioned one of the apartment complexes was on Richmond Beltway area.
9900 block of Richmond.
So that's the 9900 block of Richmond, that's the January assault?
No,
It's fine.
Do you guys want to give us the approximate addresses of the other three?
no,
You can give them the
No.
block and street. Yes.
I don't know them. They'll have to.
So like the 100 block?
Yeah, what's the 100 block and street names?
On mine, I have to look at it because the victim moved in different places, so.
We don't want
Yeah.
to reveal any specifics that might hinder our investigation. Okay, so please.
We will tell you this, every victim has moved, and there's a state law that they can cancel their contract immediately, and they don't even have to pay a deposit at the next location. That's a state law, which helps them
So-
out.
For our purposes.
Sure. So the other two are going to be 13,000 block of Northborough, and that's going to be in the Greens Point area.
Northborough?
Northborough, north like the direction, and then borough, B-O-R-O-U-G-H, one word. And the other block's going to be, the other address is the 300 block of Benmar, B-E-N-M-A-R.
And where was he first stopped in April? That was the trespassing where there's no charges filed?
15,100 Richmond.
15,000 block of Richmond.
Yes, ma'am. It's way out by
Yeah, it's not racist,
Willcrest.
yeah.
somewhere.
Has he worked anywhere?
According to his friend, he worked day job or something like that. We searched his employment history. We can't find anything to say he is current working.
Can you all spell your names, Detective?
Pardon?
Your name?
Last name is Daniel, D-A-N-I-E-L.
And your first name, sir?
Initials D period, R period.
You don't want to give us your first name?
Reagan, like the old president.
I mean, just, for our purposes, it's better that y'all have real names. Sir?
Yes, Ramon, R-A-M-O-N, Garcia, G-A-R-C-I-A.
J.E. Garza.
With a Z, right?
Yes.
Just, we'll bring this to a close. What we're asking the public, we're trying to leverage their help and help us bring Brandon Carter to justice. So if anybody has any information, please contact Crime Stoppers, the Houston Police Department. Again, if you see them, do not approach them. Contact us immediately. So again, if you see them, you may be eligible for reward. So contact our Crime Stoppers at 713-222-TIPS. Thank you all for coming out.
We will let y'all know as soon as he's in jail. Thank y'all, yeah.
Grab some of the card right there.
You don't have any, like, the ATM videos you can show us or anything like that?
Do you have the ATM video?
Any what?
The ATM video.
No, we don't.
This is not a nice ATM?
The DA has that, and you'd have to get that release from them.